rolling on the river. Rolling on the river. Top of the morning to you, and welcome back with a very warm, welcoming pat on the back of your balls to the channel of Major Luck 92, the Shaman of Gaming, and more to the point. Welcome back to my series, which is called Rolling Back the Years, where I cover games going backwards from 2011, well, my favourite game or most memorable game, going backwards from 2011 to as far back as I can record it. So today we're in 2008, and as I said in the Fallout New Vegas video, I didn't want to do Fallout 3 from 2008 because I had this planned. This is Gears of War 2, and again, I also had another thing planned. I had planned to do a multiplayer game for this because at one point I was an absolute fucking dire straits of a beast at the multiplayer on this when I was on the journey to get to level 100, and yeah, so I was really looking forward to doing that, but it turns out that everybody has abandoned this game for Gears of War 3, so that was unfortunate. Anyway, I've just sort of plucked a random bit of the campaign out, nothing special, just something to throw, you know, that you can see Gears of War 2 in action whilst I talk about the game. So let's get it started with what's on the screen at the moment, the campaign. So the campaign in Gears of War in general, from Gears 1 to 3 so far, obviously there's more to be seen. There's the story still to be continued, or going backwards, should we say. But anyway, yeah, there's more games to be seen yet. But so far, I actually have probably had more of an enjoyable experience in terms of single-player games that are sort of linear, you know, like away from RPGs and open world and that sort of thing, and like sports and stuff like that. I have had probably more of an enjoyable time playing this as a single-player linear game than anything else. The campaigns are just so consistently great, and the good thing is they've always been co-op. You know, the first and second were only 2-player co-op, and then they brought 4-player co-op into Gears of War 3, which was just excellent, although I haven't actually played 4-player. I think the maximum I've had is 3, but it's really enjoyable. And even solo, you know, the first time I've played through the campaigns, I've always played solo, but it turned out that Gears of War 2, I literally have played this with everybody I know pretty much, and it's just such an enjoyable experience because it always ranges from, you know, sort of fights like this on foot, you know, with plenty of cover, to open wide battles and vehicle chapters and stuff like that. So, you know, it always keeps you on your toes, and all the actions really are sort of intense. And like I said, I'm actually quite disappointed that I couldn't do a multiplayer game because, again, even though it really did have its problems, the multiplayer in this game, mainly because, you know, it's the same with Call of Duty, that the host always has the advantage, but never has that been more true than in the multiplayer for Gears of War 2. If you were the host, it was near enough impossible to do badly. You know, on a COD host, you know, you can do badly. It's quite rare, but yeah, for the Gears of War 2 host games that you get, you know, it's just ridiculous. You can tell the difference too much. But anyway, yeah, I was really disappointed that I couldn't actually bring a multiplayer game, because it's what multiplayer games should be about for me. You know, it really hit the nail on the head. The thing I loved about it so much is the fact that it's so raw. You know, Gears of War 3 brought in a few other weapons, you know, it's brought in the sawed-off shotgun and the retro lancer and the digger launcher and stuff like that, which make it a little bit less raw. The thing is about Gears of War 2 and Gears 1 online is the fact that, you know, you had the same weapons as everybody else. I know on you know, Gears of War 3 you sort of do, but obviously because there's more choice of a rifle and 2 shotguns, you know, sometimes you'll see all different types of combinations, so it's not quite the same. On Gears of War 2 and 1, you all started with the same weapons, and I just love the fact that it's more skill-based. You know, say if nobody had host advantage, which obviously is something Gears of War 3 did right, bringing dedicated servers in, but yeah, say if nobody had host advantage, it would literally be all about skill, because this game's so much more difficult to be good at, the multiplayer, than say COD, and it's like I say, the the big multiplayer games for me in terms of shooters are Gears of War, Halo, COD, and Battlefield. And out of those four, I think that Gears of War is definitely the hardest to get good at online. No, some people might actually disagree with me there, but I actually believe that is true. Because, I don't know, I think third-person games are just more difficult to get used to in general. But yeah, the reason I did like this so much is because it's so raw, it's so skill-based when, you're not the host and it's, two people that aren't the host going one-on-one. It's all about who's the better at the game, really. And yeah, it's sort of always been ahead of its time graphically as well, I think. The first Gears of War was really sort of out there, and, it was a huge, huge success. I just think this sort of built on the success of that game. Some people still believe that the first one's better. I actually prefer this one. It's my favourite one out of the series. I put the most time into multiplayer out of the 3 games, obviously, to get to a level 100. I'm not even level 100 on Gears 3. I haven't played it as much as I planned to play it, to be honest. But yeah, I've put a lot of time into this game, and I've enjoyed every minute of it. And one thing about the multiplayer that's really good, nothing does it better than Halo in terms of, anything can happen, but sometimes you'll see some ridiculous stuff happen in Gears Online. One of my favourite things was playing Wingman, which is, for those of you who can't speak, for those of you who haven't played Gears of War's multiplayer, Wingman's basically where there is it 5 teams of 2? Yeah, because it's 10 people. It's 5 teams of 2 all going against each other. And I remember me and one of my friends were playing. We used to play Wingman a lot. Probably the most enjoyable game mode, that and Guardian. But anyway, getting off topic. Yeah, we were playing that, and 2 of the people, like one of the couples, stood still the entire time with their lancers out, and they were alive right till the end of the round, where there was one couple left, and this couple went over to them, thought they were AFK or AFC in this case, and then they just revved the chainsaws and won the round, getting an extra point whilst they were doing it. And for those Gears of War multiplayer veterans, you probably will have seen that done a few times. But the thing that was retarded about it is the round after, they actually tried to do it again, and me and my friend came up behind them whilst they were just stood there AFK and blasting them away with shotguns. So it's got that diverse feel to it, where every sort of game's fairly different from the previous one. Like I said, there's just some epic battles and then sort of standoffs in the campaign that are amazing like this. Probably my favourite scene in the whole campaign is actually after this. You get a glance of the Leviathan, the giant water creature, just at the end of the video, but I don't actually show the battle because it's just a little bit drawn out and a little bit easy, really. It's just graphically pleasing, so that's why it's really one of my favourite scenes from the campaign. And what made it even more epic is I'm really not a fan of water in general, but like water that you can't see to the bottom of, and like dark water, I hate it. That's just a little insight into what I'm about. That's probably my one and only fear. So yeah, it sort of evoked more reaction from me than a lot of other multiplayer games do. The campaign's fairly long as well. That's one of the things that I really like about it. There's some really excellent weapons, and some really sad moments. For those of you who've played it, you'll know what I'm talking about. And yeah, it's just a game that really, for people who are fans of just all out action, multiplayer and single player, you would be a huge fan of this. If you haven't played it already, I really suggest you do so. Play the first one first, and then move through them as they go. I really think they would please you. Obviously, for those of you who have played it, you know how pleasing these games can be, and how much of a good experience it can be. So I think this video is just about wrapping up. As I said, you just get a little bit of a glimpse of the monster, which is the Leviathan in this game. As you can see, the graphics are just, so there's some really excellent environments in this that really look top of the range. Free range eggs and bacon, hash browns, and a big sweaty mushroom. Here it is. Choking on the emulsion. He will choke on your balls. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave me some feedback. That would be very, very much appreciated. And I'll see you when you get there. If you ever get there. Rip out my pubic hair.